welcome to Coffee with Joy. I'm so excited to have you all here. I am your favorite host, Coffee with Joy. So excited to have my guest T in the building. Yes, as we talk about being a wife, a mother, and still living life, just having balance. So I'm so excited to have her on. In a few minutes, we're going to talk to her. But please make sure that you all get out and vote. I cannot stretch it enough. Stretch it enough. Please go out and vote. For so many people have died for us to vote. So I can't tell you who to vote for, but I can tell you who to vote for. Yeah, I'm gonna let my silence talk because voting is very important because it gives us our civic duty and you partaking in the judicial system so that you're part of society. Yes, we know so many ups and downs are going around, so many issues, so many politics. Of course, one person can't satisfy all of our needs, but we know that one person can. It's a start, right? And we don't want to go back. We want to continue to where we are and move forward. So please make sure that you go out and vote if you're able and capable to vote. And I can't stress it enough. As you know, Coffee with Joy is doing her justice, doing her civil duty to make sure that you all go out and vote wherever you are, making sure that you are registered because we know many people are trying to somewhat stop the system and trying to put a wrench into the system with 7 to 6 weeks to go before we actual vote, and it's the actual test. So after that, it won't be anymore. So please make sure that you go out and vote and let us know who did you vote for after, if you're able and capable. Well, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow Coffee with Joy. So excited to have you on. Please make sure you leave a comment. For my guest T, if you have any issues or anything that you would like to share, I know she's more than welcome to answer. So I'm going to bring my guest T on in the building. Hey, T, how are you?
I am well. How are you?
Good. So excited to have you here on Coffee with Joy. So before we start, can you tell people a little bit about yourself? And then we're going to jump right into our conversation.
Yes, absolutely. My name is T Erica. Everyone calls me T, but on social media, I'm Tiffany J Inspired, which comes from my middle name. So I have a lot of names. I have a lot of names, but I am a mom. I am a wife. I am an entrepreneur. I'm also the founder of what's called GALS, and it stands for Gifted and Living Successfully. It's when I bring women together. We work on our goals and our purpose in life because we are all given a purpose on this life, in this life. So we come together several times a year and we gather and we empower each other. Yes, that's just basically, I'm a mom, wife, entrepreneur. I have a creative agency. So what I do is I bring those who may not know what they want to do, and we actually formulate a plan, and we get creative, and they push out their purpose in their own unique way, because there's nothing like you showing up as yourself. That's very important. And I am a content creator, influencer on social media. Yeah, that's my life.
Wow. So that just brings us right to the whole nucleus question. How are you able to stay balanced? Because one may listen to that and say, wow, and you look good. I know you feel great from the external, but and it's like, how are you able to, stay balanced? What keeps T balanced and all of that? Being a mother, being a wife, being a content creator, entrepreneur, and the list just goes on. How are you able to How are you able to stay balanced along that?
Okay, first and foremost, I feel like the most common answer is God
Amen.
and
Amen.
prayer. Okay, because that is what's going to get you
Right.
through. But I feel like my community.
Yeah.
Um, and it wasn't always like this. If I
Mm.
can be honest, I wasn't always balancing it. I was stressed. I was
Mm.
depressed doing all of this. Like, don't let the Instagram and things fool you. But I had to learn, in order to juggle all of these things, you have to have a plan, and you have to communicate what you need for others to do. You need to
Mm.
delegate, and that's something that has helped me to balance, is really delegating tasks that I need help when it comes down to the children, when
Right.
it comes down to different things around the house, or just my own, needs with the business. I had to learn to delegate so that I can really balance it and not be stressed out.
Wow. And in something that you said is that the denominator to it all is God. And that's what, really people need to understand is that, that's where I center, everything to assure that life for me is running perfectly to someone, but running perfectly to me. So I truly agree. When you keep God in the center, everything will run smoothly the best way it can. And things are going to happen, things are going to take place. But when you keep him center, it's definitely going to run smooth, and it's going to give off like, hey, he's in the mix, he's really working it out, and you're trusting and putting in him. So what is like the best thing, if a mom is watching, like what are some tools, and how are you able to keep your kids into the picture? How are you able to keep your kids photographed? Some parents, they complain, and when I say complain, for lack of saying, right, not in the actual like, oh my god, but some kids just don't want to take the pictures. Some kids, like some moms, want to be the content creator, but their kids are like, I'm not up for this. I'm not able to do this. How are you able to get your kids to do so well in photography and doing just the day-to-day things, that pictures that you go about? How are you able to do all that?
So mostly on my page, I gear it around my everyday life. Like not I don't say everyday life, like real life. It's not planned. Like the pictures aren't really planned. It's just we're in the moment
Okay.
and we're taking a photo. So that is actually an idea for parents who may not their kids don't want to have a staged photo shoot. Just
Mm,
take pictures in the moment,
mm,
do your content in the moment. So it's more honestly it's more authentic that way.
yeah.
And your kids are already happy if they're at the park, let them be happy. They're already happy. So just say, you know what, guys, let's come around, take a picture, let's do this, let's do that. And you get your pictures that you want, you get your content, and everybody's happy, you get everything. So that's what I do. I don't really do too many stage photo shoots or like
Mm,
stage content. It's more so in the moment content. So we're already there, so we'll photograph some things while we're there without taking away from the fun that we're actually having. Like I'm not going to have my camera and things out the whole time, but
right.
if they can give mommy five minutes of a little photo here, we can have all the fun. We'll shut the cameras off and have all the fun. So
Wow. I
that's
mean,
what
it looked effortlessly, right? And I think that's a great thing, because truly, when you allow your life just to enjoy your life, the content will come in. Because some people do sit around and, hey, we got to, fixate or create this to make this not just, and I think they're missing the essence of life.
right.
Just going and just enjoying it, just be who you are. I remember hearing a content creator say, your life is the content. So, you go out there, and when you make it happen just spontaneously, or just catch that moment, that's when I think it actually work, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good tip. That's a good tidbit for mothers who want to be content creators. Just do simple things. And how are you able to make sure that your aesthetics match, like it has an easy flow where you're showcasing? Because, and of course, me, a fangirl, being a mother, a wife, and still enjoying your life. How are you able to aesthetically showcase your page that way so that it just flows seamlessly and easy?
I guess I just primarily just have I guess because the type of content that I do, it
Okay.
kind of matches each other. Like I don't have like a certain niche, but
Okay.
on there you're gonna get a deal. Like I may be shopping somewhere. I may be going to a new place to try. So it kind of becomes cohesive in a way because the type of places that we go to, they're kind of like similar in the aesthetic. Like when I'm shopping, I'm usually shopping at the same type of store. Like I'm going to Target, we're going to Marshalls, we're going to TJ Maxx. So when my shopping content will primarily be cohesive, so that kind of makes it, you know, line up, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to like the same types of stores or the same type of restaurants or the same types of you know types of hotels, and then it just comes together.
Yeah. And I
But I
ask that
really don't
because
have like a niche. Like I don't. I know you're supposed. A lot of content creators, they push having a niche, but that's just not me. And I feel like for me, it wouldn't. I wouldn't have joy in it if that makes sense. If I'm constantly doing the same thing all the time, I think my passion for it wouldn't be there anymore. So I
Mhm.
always tell people I just share a little bit of my life and what I authentically do. So like you can literally find me at the thrift store. You can find me at Marshall's. This is not just for content. This
Yeah.
is like I love going to local hotels and restaurants and different things like that. So I guess
No, and I totally agree with you. I know even when people ask me about coffee with joy, like what is it sitting around? I said, I'm not in the box. Coffee
yeah.
with joy is not in the box. I mean, if you were to watch a talk show, you can't say they only center around wellness or they only center around fashion. I don't want it to be that. And God is not a small God. So he's a God of many. So I really try to make sure Coffee with Joy is a how to, a testimonial to share. And it's really normalizing that difficult conversation because we stem for so much. Before you execute or do anything, you have a conversation, whether with self or with someone. You have that conversation to move forward in things. So with Coffee with Joy, we try to bring across so many and really just to share just a snippet of what someone off is willing to share. Because I think society has gripped us to think that we must live in this niche. And that's not what it is. I don't want to be just a black girl serving black girls. No shade. I want to be a talk show host who service everyone.
Exactly.
It's still shaped, it's still fine, it's still coming out, but that's great to hear because I just don't want to be in that box. I want you to be able to read the picture and read the show like, oh wow, okay, I have a place on here. I could be able to share, I could be able to give. So that's good to hear. I'm with you. That's why I was like, yes, on my little
And there's
platform.
nothing wrong with,
Mhm.
having a certain niche or staying in your box.
Right.
But for me as a creative, I know how I am. Like
Yes.
I think I would be stressed out. I wouldn't love it anymore,
Yeah.
if I'm always doing the same thing. If I'm only
Yeah.
just doing this thrifting or shopping, after a while, I'm not going to want to thrift or shop.
Yeah.
I don't think about today. I think about maybe a year from now. I'm like, a year from now, do I just want to do thrifting content?
Right. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's how you're building your community.
Mhm.
So if you build your community off of a certain content, when you start producing new content, the people that came initially for the first content, they're gonna be like, girl, what are you doing?
Yeah.
um so that's why I'm like I do a little bit of everything that just surrounds what we're actually doing in our lives,
Mhm.
so that people know, like, when you come here, you're going to get a little bit of everything. You're not just going to get one thing. So if you don't get the shopping today, you may get it tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's perfectly fine, and I think with your page is so delightful to watch, it gives off, it's not being like mundane, like you stated, because again, I never even thought about the niche, right? It was just, I love seeing the family, you really being balanced, and that's what I get, somebody may have gotten something different, but I see a wife, who looks balanced, with her children, with her husband, and still be able to share tidbits, still give ideas, ways, quotes, things of that nature, and still be cohesive. Still be parallel where it's not like, okay, I really don't understand. And it's not for me to understand. And I just want people to understand that because people create their page how they see fit. It's not for me to determine because I'm not the end all and be all. I'm not your conclusion. So some things I may not understand, and that's totally fine. But if you love it, hey, that's all what matters. If you're able to create it how you see fit, that's fine. But with your page, I was able to say, oh, wow, I really dig this, And of course, you've been on my list for a while, and that's what makes the joy of like going after people who could share and just be able to share a little snippet of what they do. Because just to hear that little piece right there, it's like, oh, wow, okay. So I was in the limelight. I was okay, I was right. So like what do your husband think, being in the picture, going with the flow, like what does his feel, what does he take part with, say, oh yeah, my wife T, she does a great thing, I really love this, I really enjoy it. What is his take on
Okay, my husband is very behind the scenes.
it?
So he's doing the pictures, he's doing the content a lot of the times.
Mhm.
But in front of the camera, he's just like, he'd rather not be in front of the camera, but he wouldn't mind it. If I need him, he'll do it in a heartbeat.
Mm.
But yeah, he's just there, whenever
Yeah.
I need him to be there when it comes down to the content creating. So more so he is taking my pictures or other things like that. But He just likes being there. He'll help whenever he wants to help. Does he really want to be in the front all the time? Absolutely not.
Right.
But he wouldn't mind though. He doesn't
Right.
give me a hard time with it. He never gave me a hard time with
Oh,
the
that's
journey,
awesome.
and I really appreciate him for that though.
That's great to hear. Now, with the fashion, right? Of course, fashion girly to another fashion girly, you know. Like what is your favorite if it had to be, right? Meaning that it is your favorite going to the thrift or just going to the store, sharing the discounts. What about the fashion that you really like to penetrate on your page that really comes off? That's something like, oh yeah, today's fashion, we're going to do this, just to have a head over because, I asked to a content creator to another, even when I go fashion, okay, do I want to do jeans or do I want to show off this? You always have like this mind just going, But what is T's favorite thing when she go shopping, rather thrifting or just into a regular store?
So my go-to is I love to show people that you don't have to spend a lot to look good. That's just
Yeah,
period. So if you go into a thrift store, go to the thrift store, girl. Like if you're going to Marshalls, go to Marshalls. If you're going to Nordstrom Rack, go to Nordstrom Rack. Do what you do on your budget. But I always like to go to places like the thrift store and,
mm,
shop the sale and show everyone because sometimes people feel like if you're not on trend at a certain store, you ain't it. You don't look good and different things like that. And I'm just like, no, girl, this outfit was 99 cents at this store. It may not be on trend. I may not have a link for it, but it's cute. So I
right.
think that's my go-to. My whole fashion go-to is that it's okay to be on a budget. Like everyone does not have it. There's a lot of people that have it. If you have it, good. Like I'm all
Yeah,
for it. But there's some people who don't,
yeah.
and they feel like they're going to be behind for
Hmm.
some reason because they can't afford to get the $40 shirt all the time, you know?
Yeah.
And that's just in these days and times, life is hard,
Yeah.
life is hard for so many people. And you have your children you got to buy for, and, different things. So I always try to be a little more balanced in different places
Mhm.
that I shop and a little more realistic. With some people and show that listen, you can get the cute outfit from the thrift store, you can get the cute outfit from Target. Listen, I'm here to hit all the budgets.
And and it's complete. And I want people to understand it's not how much it costs, it's how you wear it. Because
Exactly.
somebody could take a
That is
99
it.
cents outfit and really make it almost like I know she paid a lot if it's not being stated.
Exactly.
You see? So I totally agree. I am here for the budget. I am truly here to, and I love now that I'm getting into more of like trying to mix the pieces, right? I mean, like hard, made like a dress with the jeans pants under it, like a
Yes.
Barbie doll with, because I see some women, and I mean, man, they make it look effortlessly, right? And they have like 4 or 5 pieces and they thrift, and it's like
Yeah.
so gorgeous, so beautiful. So I know many people love thrifting. So I'm not even gonna say we're not even downplaying no thrifting. Many people love thrifting because hey, I am a fan of thrifter. That's
Yeah.
my go-to, surely. So that is truly a budget. So after we're going to come back after these messages, and thank you all. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow Coffee with Joy. Right after these messages, we're going to talk to T. How does she balance? What does she do to make sure that she enjoys who she is, and what does she do for self-care and things of that nature? So after these messages, we're going to come right back to talking with my guest T. Want to elevate your game? Want to reach an engaged audience? Have no fear. Advertise your business on our podcast. Connect with us, the Coffee with Joy Talk Show podcast, and let's grow together. Email us, and we surely look forward to hearing from you. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Coffee with Joy. So excited to have you all in the building. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow Coffee with Joy. If you like to patronize, please make sure that you follow our QR codes towards the end. And we're going to continue to talk to my guest T as we talk about how do she balance everything as she talks about her being an entrepreneur, as she gets in, and her businesses of everything that she does. So before we jump right in, T, what do you do for self-care? What is something that if somebody were to look and say, okay, what make you look so your glow, you're beautiful? And these are all external, right? So no one knows the internal, but from the external, it's the glow, it's the beautiful, you shine, you radiant. So what do you do for self-care that keeps T going?
Well, for self care, I don't really have a certain thing that I
Mhm.
do, if I can be honest. Like, I
Yeah.
don't have like a certain routine. I'm not a everyday 5 a.m. girly. I'm not a, you know what I'm saying? And first of all, I had to learn to be at peace with what I can't do. I feel like that was the
Mhm.
best self care for me, because there was a point in my life where I was trying to do what other people were doing, and that was leaving me stressed out. And so that was leaving sorry
Yeah,
that
you're
was
good.
leaving me stressed out. So like self-care for me is just doing what I need to do and not
Mhm.
caring what other people are doing. um because honestly, if I can be truly transparent, I went through a depression at one point, trying to is imposter syndrome will creep up, and that would definitely put you in a very hard place
Right.
if you don't know who you are. So I
Mhm.
say the greatest form of self-care is realizing who you are,
Right.
is figuring out who you are, and that's it. Now I love to get my nails done, I like to get my hair done, I like to do the all the things. But yeah, I feel like being in my word, that's a
Yeah.
part of my self-care. The other week I did wake up at 4:30. So I got up at 4:30 a.m., washed my hair, straightened my hair, did all the things. Um, but other than that, I really don't have a certain self-care routine.
Mhm.
I just
Yeah, and
I
see
just
that
I
adds because it's the truth. I think society has really is society's trying to conform us that we have to do 100 things to our face. We have to make sure we put the watermelon. We have to put the cucumber on. We have to
right.
meditate for 3 hours and then start life. And it's great to hear what that self care looks like, right? And really
Yeah,
just being at peace who you are and just not allow people to live rent free in your head, because being a content creator, of course, the harder you go up or wherever ladder, things starts to come, like they say, new levels, new devils, right? Because the more that you creep up, nobody don't want you to be number one, right? But again, even if you're in your own lane and no one is watching you, so many people want you to be in this box, like we stated, the niche, and to do everything like, the self-care, like this supposed to be this bam bam regimen. No, I just want to be at peace. My self-care is just to rest. I just want
exactly.
to sit down. I don't have no facial, like, even, and it's great to hear because I know, thank God. So God, even like when MUAs they do my face, they's like, oh, you got great skin. I said, what is your facial regimen? Water, drink water. Like, I don't have a long laundry list.
Seriously.
Yeah, I don't. So it's great to hear that, you know, we're not being conformed to what society think you have to have bam bam. And no tea, no shade to nobody. That's
Right.
what you love and that's what you want. But just to know that you are at peace, just being at
Who you
peace, just
are.
being who you are, you know.
Right.
And imposter syndrome is completely serious. That's something that, of course, as time get older, the new name takes over. Everyone's trying to incorporate a new name, but with that, you try to match and you try to be somebody who you're not in front of people, and at some point you just say to heck with it. No, you're gonna accept me for who I am, or it's okay. It is okay, because I feel as though I know for a fact God didn't put me here for a reason for me to be somebody else. He didn't put me here for this to keep going, for me to be somebody else. No. And if it's not you, then it will be somebody else. So I truly appreciate that, just being at peace, just enjoying who you are.
Right. No, no, seriously, that's a battle that so many
Yeah,
people face though. They're
yeah.
like, and I believe like the whole skincare routine. I'm like, I'm going to the store like, oh, I need a skincare routine. I need a
Mhm.
certain, and there's nothing wrong with that. I
Right.
just had to learn skincare routine my way. It may be different than your way,
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I always try to teach anyone around me. Like I have mentees under me. Like you
yeah.
have to do life that suits you in
Mhm,
your life, and that's how I like I said, I had to create that peace within me. I'm not
mhm.
going to be that 5 a.m. girly every day that I would love to be. Like
Right.
I see so many people wake up, they exercise by 8 o'clock. They are just living their best life, and I'm just struggling. I'm not a morning person, and I had to
Yeah.
come to terms with that. So I
Mhm.
had to find what made me peace within what the things that I do, you know, enjoy and be
Mhm.
okay with that. And yeah.
That is so profound. That is so great. And I'm so glad to hear, it's not, again, not the bam, bam, bam. And like you
Yeah.
say, you have mentees. So what are some things that you do teach within your organization to help young girls? What are some things that what they see you do, or what do you bring to them, or the
Yeah.
overall organization?
Yeah. So
Mhm.
for my mentees, I do a lot of purpose. Like I always tell them to tap into their own purpose. Like I can guide you, but I can't do it for you.
Right.
Like you're gonna have to walk this life, on your own. So I always try to guide them within their unique way. I can't
Mhm.
it's like one thing for me, like a whole skincare routine, or just say it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, this is what I do, but do what's best for you. Like that might
Oh,
not, these
boy.
products may not work for your face.
Yeah.
So you have to do. So I always, and this is for any way of life when it comes down to them starting businesses,
Mhm.
like I can only guide you the way I did it, but this
Yeah.
might not be the way that you will do it. So
Right.
I'm very into being creative and showing people the creative way and the unique way for them to walk their life and not mimic what they see other people do. So that's just
Mhm.
my main focus on my mentees, and just being there, being a listening ear for them, because sometimes people are going through some battles, okay? People are going through some things, and sometimes you just have to be that ear, you
Yeah.
know? Sometimes being a mentor means being quiet and letting them just talk for the whole hour, or not giving your input in your way of doing it and just
Mhm.
letting them, share. And I had
Yeah.
to learn that too, because I told one of my friends, I was like, well, there was a time people will come to me for different things that they're going through, and I would be so quick to tell them my way of how I would handle it.
Yeah.
And like literally God used to tell me, well, God had to tell me, it's just like, no, girl, they just need a hug. You just need to be quiet.
So you right on my lane. And the reason why I held my head down is because I know, and I'm grateful. So God, I thank you.
Mhm.
Um, when people, they ask for my reasoning, I say, well, God hasn't given me an answer.
Mhm.
I don't have an answer, and I don't want to pretend that I do.
Right.
I know I may sound profound. It is my prayer to sound profound. It is my prayer to allow God to use me for his vessel. But at the same time, I don't have an answer. Even though, yeah, I'm a true believer. Everyone have answers when they're not dealing with the situation,
Right.
right? But that does not provoke me to give you an answer. I
Mhm.
am not trying to be Mother Teresa. At least that's
Right.
not what I want. I don't know what God has for me, but at this present time, He hasn't called me to give you an answer. It's just
Right.
me to be, like you stated, a listening ear, and
Right.
just said, and prayer works as much as a lot of people don't want to. I know they say prayer, hey, your prayer is not working. Well, God don't move on our time. It does work. I know
Yeah.
it works. So I'm gonna tell you, just have to pray and continue to ask God, but I don't have that answer. Even if I do, I don't want to project it on you and then you execute what I say, and that's not what God said. You see? So I have to yield to the silence. And I think a lot of people don't do that when in a crisis or situation. Sometimes the silence is the answer. So it's just great to hear when you say that. I as much as, yes, I can give you an answer, but the spirit is telling me not to
That's
even
it.
say anything.
Right.
So I truly, yeah, that
And
is
that's
truly.
important too, because sometimes too you have to think about your answer too, because sometimes we lead with the emotion. We don't really lead with what we're really supposed to say. We are upset, or if it's maybe it's somebody dear to us, and
Yeah.
we're reacting off of their emotions, so we're giving them an emotional answer you
Hmm.
know so now everybody's moving emotionally. So
Yeah.
I had to learn to, girl, just be quiet. This is not the time for
Hmm.
that. Give them the hug, be the listening ear, take in everything that they're saying, write it down. If it's a phone call, I always write things down,
Right.
what they're saying. So when I can check up on them and stuff like that, I can always refer back to that situation that they're going through, and check in on with them more personally. But other than that, like sometimes being a mentor is just being quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. So, like, what type of restaurants that you like to go? What is your favorite food? Because again, I have to ask that. I always try to ask everybody that because I'd be trying to learn different food, different restaurant. Not trying to be no food critic. Sometimes I think I missed my calling, but I don't know. God may circle back. He knows how to spin the block. But so, like, when you go out with your family, everyone always trying to be safe with their kids. Do they have chicken nuggets, making sure they have fries. But when you all go out, what is your restaurant, or do you cater to your kids just to make sure, okay, they have this, they have certain things that they may need when you all go out as a family?
So you want my honest answer?
Yes,
I
yes.
am basic Betty when it comes down to restaurants.
Oh,
I am not. I just like places that have great atmospheres.
okay.
No, I mean the food. Okay, let me back that up. The food has to taste good. It has to have good reviews. But I'm I'm not always a steak and lobster girl. Some days give me chicken fingers and French fries, and I will be just as content and happy.
Yeah,
You would
yeah.
think this is a 5-star restaurant. Um, but yeah, I'm just very low key when in restaurants and stuff like that. I think more so we love going to different places
Mhm.
like that because it's a change of scenery.
Mhm.
And it just is family time. It's
Yeah.
time for us to have different conversations and, experience different places and atmosphere fears. But I love places more so if they have live music. I like restaurants like that.
Mhm.
If they have different types of food. Like I
Yeah.
went to a restaurant, they changed the name to the bistro, but they
Okay.
had like all these fun like milkshakes and different things like that. We went there, that was fun. But most of all, girl, I am basic Betty. I am the most boring person. Just give me a good conversation, good time.
You're right.
I will make these chicken fingers feel like we had a 5-star restaurant.
So your kid's like, yes, mommy, we already know what we eating. Yes,
We
yes.
already know. I
We
love
are
all types of restaurants, but I'm not picky.
yeah, yeah,
I am not your picky girl. That's why I'm
yeah.
just like when my friends want to go, I'm just like y'all pick.
Yeah,
Y'all
yeah,
pick
yeah.
because I'm just here for the
The ambiance, the
fellowship.
vibe.
Yeah, the fellowship
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything. I don't
yeah.
care what they have. As
Right,
long as it tastes good though. But
right, right.
I'm
No,
not
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Yeah, I am with the vibe, the whole ambiance. I always ask people because when going out to eat, especially when you have kids, it's like, okay, try to make sure. And I see it with my best friend, with my goddaughter. I see it and I just be wondering, do people go through this? Like, we have to make sure because she's my goddaughter, she just turned
picky.
7, she has to have pizza. So it's like, okay, we got to make sure we get the pizza. And there's been times where we've gone to places, my dating would get the pizza and we would take it to the restaurant. I'm like, oh my gosh, really? Do people go through? So that's why I ask, because you have kids and do people actually go through this? So it's good to hear people don't go through this. It's just they lean into a situation. Yeah. I just laugh. I say, hey, I'm just here to have a good time. So that's good.
Right.
So, as we bring the show to a close, T, what keeps T going? Prayer, affirmation. What keeps T going along this journey of content creator, being a wife, a mother, entrepreneur, and so many more other hats that you wear? What keeps T going?
Okay, so besides the prayer and God, because we already know He's
Mhm.
our source, and prayer is our resource. So I really go with planning.
Mm.
Planning. That's what keeps me going because if I'm not planning it, I am all over the place,
Yes.
honestly. And that's when things get really weird in my head. I start
Mhm.
like overthinking, and I quit. Like you get that feeling like you want to quit because you're disorganized.
Yeah.
I like to plan and be organized, and that's what keeps me going. That keeps me excited. That keeps me just loving what I do. Like I have content now, just waiting just to be posted. So I'm
Yeah.
just like, I can't wait to wake up the next day and post it. Like my joy is there. Now I want to create more content because I'm already organized before everything is all planned. So I'm ready to create content for the fall and going into Christmas and things like that now because I'm already Organized. So I think for me, what keeps me going is just trying to be more organized and
Yeah.
planning. And my family, my kids actually love it to an extent.
Mm.
As long as it's something fun for them to do,
Right,
they
right.
love the content creating. But everything that I do, I love. Like everything that I do, I absolutely love. I think about it all day. I get excited. That's why I always tell people just do what you love, you
Yeah.
know? And if
Mm.
it's something that God has placed in you to
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
um, always seek him to like, because sometimes some things he gives you is for you, and there's
Yeah.
other things that he gives you that he wants you to share to the world and do. If God
Mhm.
gave it to you, he's going to give you everything you need to do it, and you're going to find joy within it. So yeah.
Wow. That is truly remarkable. Thank you, T, for being on Coffee with Joy. Yes. So excited. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Please make sure that you all like, subscribe, and follow Coffee with Joy. And if you have a question, I know my guest T will surely would love to answer. If you like to patronize Coffee with Joy, please make sure that you follow our QR code that is located on the screen. We're so excited. Any amount would do to help our program as we move forward in the future. So as always, if you know it's a weekday or a weekend, you know it's Coffee with Joy. Until then, live life on purpose. You all have a blessed day or a blessed night.